What is going on, everybody? It is Wednesday night. It is December 16th, 2020. Welcome to the Quarren stream. I already see my bro Yangus is in the audience. That's what I like to see. We have a huge show for you tonight. A massive, massive show. Big Moon Pie is here. He's throwing up chubs. He's getting hype. The hype train is getting ready. This is great. Let's start with the elephant in the room. Okay, obviously it's been a few weeks since the last time I Quarren streamed. I haven't streamed since my very great Dead Space 2 stream, which went over awesome, and I had a great time. And then 2 or 3 days later was the presidential election, and I personally was feeling a lot of anxiety and tension, and at the same time, Destiny 2's major expansion for the year came out. And for those of you that don't know, LA Dead Red and I play a lot of Destiny. LA Dead Red is here. What's up? Throwing up some arcade cabs. That's what I like to see. I need a better way to like insta put up some chubs and arcade cabs and stuff. I like that, but I had to go all the way across. I need to get one of those button things you can get someday. So anyway, I was super stressed out, and then Destiny came out. And for those of you that don't know, it was, really not looking like there was a lot of closure on the election and stuff like that. And it's really been causing me a lot of kind of existential fear and anxiety. And I just didn't really feel like, I just was having a hard time getting it up to stream. I was just like feeling very lethargic, and I was just playing Destiny, and but I was getting a lot of questions from people, and I love streaming, and I really wanted to get back to it. And I have so much stuff going on in the Geek Cave now. I have several mod projects that are now complete, which means that I have some super exciting stuff I'm going to be able to do coming up. And tonight I wanted to come back strong. The election appears to be done. Joe Biden appears to have won. Thank God. I'm sorry if any of you are Trump supporters out there, but fuck Trump. I'm glad to see he's gone. Let's move forward as a country, and let's get back to enjoying some retro games, And so as part of that, I wanted to have a big stream tonight. This is a big one, gang. This is a big one. I see Bracktoon is here. This is important that Bracktoon is here because this game plays an important role in Bracktoon and the friendship of Ryan and Bracktoon. So we're going to be playing a game tonight that the only time I have ever seen this arcade game was in the weird kind of poolside game room at the La Quinta Inn and Suites that we were staying at for Coachella. It was probably, what do you think it was, Bracktoon? Was it like Coachella 2009, 2010? I'm pretty sure it was before I went to Montreal. So I feel like it was probably 2009 or so. And we played this crazy game. It was basically like Metal Slug, but like with sea-punk teenagers riding dolphins and fighting kind of an evil steampunk army. It was insane. It was colorful, it was loud, it had cool kind of 3D 2D visuals, and I'd never seen it again. It was never ported anywhere. Didn't come to PS2, it didn't come to Xbox or GameCube or anything. It was just I thought I would never be able to play it. And so I am very excited to see that we're going to be able to play that game tonight. And the story of how we're going to play that game is pretty cool. And I'm going to dive into it here. I've got a lot of visual stuff ready to go for you all. So we're going to get into how exactly we're going to play Dolphin Blue tonight. Now, we could have spent about $3,000, which is what it would take to have an actual Dolphin Blue arcade cabinet Probably more than that to have the cabinet itself. But just for the hardware to play Dolphin Blue on a television, you're looking at least $2,000 or so, probably. And so I just was like, well, that's never going to happen. And the weird arcade hardware that it came out on has never been emulated that well. And so I just thought, well, I'm never going to be able to play it. It's just going to be this memory I have of hanging out with Toon and playing this crazy dolphin-based arcade game. But we're going to be able to play it tonight. But before we do, let's jump into some shout outs. I'm seeing the chat is getting live over here. That's what I like to see. Damn, we got a new follower, Lost Causes 5. Thank you and welcome. Of course, we got DJ Bracktoon, LA's premier goth industrial and 80s DJ, my bro. We got Shill Account. He's in here. This is also meaningful because he and I had a Dreamcast when we were roommates, and the Dreamcast is definitely probably my favorite video game system. I think you could make an argument for the PS2. You could definitely make an argument for the Xbox 360, but I think that overall the Dreamcast is the whole package in terms of games that I like and stuff like that. So I'm glad Shill Account is here too. Of course, we got Yangus holding it down. He's been subscribed for 4 months. He subscribed to me even when I didn't stream at all in November. That's what I like to see. We've got LA Dead Red putting up, I don't know what those are, like teeth or those turkeys? What is that? It's weird. Whatever it is, it's freaking weird, you know? Kale Voltec, I don't even know who that is. So, we've got people that are waiting for me to talk about them, and I don't recognize the hacker alias, okay? We're underground, we're cyberpunk, okay? Everybody's using their hacker aliases, and in case I've run the grid with you and punched deck and broken through the black ice, I don't necessarily know, who's up in here, Wait, those are gift cards with hearts? Hell yes. Now we've got Tuheen up in here. Tuheen, the leader of the OK clan. Tuheen is here, so as long as Tuheen is here, we'll have to use the new OK clan meme, which is, please. Holy shit, Bigamoon Pie. He's shared rewards to 5 others in the chat. Look at that. Did you guys see that explosion on the screen? Damn, we haven't even started, and already things are going crazy. Wow. I got an emote thanks to that. That's what it's telling me. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but that's great, Holy shit. Now, Kale Voltec is in here getting free subs. That's what I like. Oh my God. Shane is here too. Hallback is here, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, Chicago's premier independent science fiction author and my friend S. Hallback in the chat right now. This is exciting. Wow. I'm so excited. This is great. I love it. I love to see it. Chubs up, everybody, I don't know that it has much to do with the cybernetic dolphin and John Mnemonic because it's kind of supposed to be more steampunk. Like it takes place in a sort of flooded water world, but the time frame seems to be like, what if Waterworld happened to a world that was around World War I era? So it's kind of diesel punk. I don't know, it's not really that cyber, but yeah. Unfortunately, this is not a crispy boy. This is a Kirkland brand sparkling grapefruit water. It's a school night for me. I'm not on Christmas vacation yet, so I can't be drinking right now, It's kind of, I don't know if it's like as much like Mad Max. It's more like if Waterworld was an anime, I guess. That's probably the best. That's probably like the best way to describe it, So, all right. So let's break it down. The backstory is there's this arcade game that I saw with my friend Bracktune when we were at Coachella. It was this crazy Japanese game about dolphins and anime teenagers and a world sunk underwater and all this kind of stuff. And I'd never seen it anywhere. And the research that I did on it indicated to me that it was far too expensive for me to ever own, and I would not be able to emulate it because there just aren't any emulators. So let's dig into that a little bit. Turns out that this game was on a system called the AtomisWave. And so let's start off with the AtomisWave logo. So the AtomisWave is a video game system that was developed in conjunction with Sega and Sammy. So at the time, Sega and Sammy, Sega obviously made the Sega Genesis. Sammy is a Japanese pachinko kind of game parlor company, and they had merged at the very beginning of the 2000s. And so Sega Sammy was creating a modular video game arcade unit. So similar to like a Neo Geo or something like that, where you would have a unit that would take cartridges that could be easily changed in and out. So you could have an arcade system that was inexpensive to quickly update and iterate on. And so Sammy in Japan is the side of Sega that runs all their arcades and pachinko parlors and stuff like that. So if you've ever been to the Sega arcade in Japan, that's run by the kind of division that was Sammy. So in about 2002 or 2003, they developed this video game system called the AtomisWave, which was only for arcades. So it was only for arcade machines. So the arcade machines, they kind of look like this, if you've ever seen them. So this is what these Japanese style, they call them candy machines or something like that. But they're basically kind of designed to sit down and smoke cigarettes at and play, video games on or whatever like that. Not all Japanese game makers are pachinko makers. That is not true. There are some companies that are just pachinko makers, and there are some that are just video game companies. There definitely are many who were famous video game publishers in like the 80s and 90s who now only do pachinko. That is true. So this is what the system looked like. This is what the inside of the system looked like. So this was inside that machine, this big orange device. You had a few bays here. The bay over. There's one bay that was an expansion for like a modem, like so you could do online games, and then this sort of lower expansion down at the bottom could be you could plug in multiple different types of control systems. So you could have a driving wheel, you could have light guns, all kinds of different stuff. And then you can see the Dolphin Blue cartridges inserted here. And here's a picture of a bunch of different carts. So the carts are all kind of about the size of like maybe they're smaller than a CD case. They're probably like maybe 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches or so. But they are very expensive. Now it's easy to find cheap Japanese knockoffs of these games that are inexpensive, but an authentic AtomisWave cartridge for the AtomisWave system is for the most part is very expensive, and that's partially because Neo Geo or SNK, the company that made the Neo Geo system in the 90s, started releasing their very popular games on the system. So you had games like King of Fighters, Metal Slug, things like that also came out on AtomisWave. And so there's a real collecting scene around that particular game company. And so it's made this a very expensive system to collect for. So for a long time, people were the story was that the AtomisWave was use some Dreamcast hardware, but it like the Naomi boards, which came out later. It was an arcade system that was based on Dreamcast, but was more advanced than Dreamcast. But some recent discoveries have found out that it's actually the AtomisWave hardware is actually a lot closer to the Dreamcast than was originally thought. And some people over at a Dreamcast forum figured out that it was so close, in fact, that you could take an AtomisWave game and without doing anything to it, you just change a couple of configuration files. Like basically you're changing like an INI file, and it would run natively on a Dreamcast, which would mean that AtomisWave games that play on a Dreamcast are not ports. They're essentially just running as they would on an AtomisWave. And so like to illustrate this is what an AtomisWave dev kit looks like. So this is, you can see here, there's Dreamcast ports on the front. And then just to illustrate that, this is what a Dreamcast dev kit looks like. So you can see they are extremely similar. They both have Dreamcast ports. And the main difference between the two is that the AtomisWave had a JAMA harness port on the front, so you could plug in standardized arcade hardware. And the Dreamcast has a GD-ROM drive, which is GD-ROM is the type of media that a Dreamcast can play. So I also have a picture of. So this is a AtomisWave development cart. So this is what the games would go on in the dev kit as opposed to a GD-ROM drive. It's basically like a flashable ROM, just like we had back in the mastering lab at THQ for playing like GameCube games on an NPDP system or something like that. But you also it also turns out that the development kit for the AtomisWave uses the exact same Katana motherboard seen here, which was actually used in the first wave of Dreamcast hardware that are mostly all found now in Dreamcast kiosk machines, but it's exactly the same motherboard. They're the same. So it was so similar that it made porting, quote unquote, these games to the Dreamcast very easy. And now I can talk a little bit about some additional modifications I've made to my standard Dreamcast, which makes this even easier, because the one sticky wicket is that Dreamcast is obviously designed to play media on a circular disc. So it is designed to play Dreamcast games off of a GD-ROM, and an AtomisWave game is supposed to be a cartridge-based game. And there's slight differences between how a game is built if you're playing them from a disc or you're playing them on a cart. And so it's really hard to play them on a unmodded Dreamcast that still has a disc drive. But luckily, there was a bunch of Black Friday deals, and I bought a couple of mods for my Dreamcast, and I'm going to talk about those too. So the first thing I bought was this. This is a Dreamcast digital HDMI mod. So I know right now Tween is looking at this and he says, please, but I'm going to explain to you exactly what this is. So the Dreamcast has the ability to output digital video, meaning HD video, not analog. But on the motherboard, there's actually a chip that translates the digital video into analog so it can be output to what at the time was a normal composite or VGA signal. But this chip allows you to solder directly onto the digital video and extract the digital video from the Dreamcast and output it to HDMI, which means that you can get native Dreamcast video directly from the Dreamcast in full HD over HDMI, which is really incredible. The only problem is it is far beyond my ability to mod. I have here, this is a picture here. Let me move it into the middle of what it would take to do this. So this is this golden cable you see here in the middle is part of the mod. You lay it down on top of the motherboard, and then you have to very, very carefully solder tiny little connections on the ribbon cable to the video out in order to get this mod to work. And it's definitely beyond me. So I shipped my Dreamcast off to a guy in Brooklyn, New York named Jose Cruz. And that guy did the mod for me. He did an extremely good job. It was totally incredible. So, the video I'm showing now, this is of a Dreamcast. It's not my Dreamcast. But he did send me pictures of my own Dreamcast, which I should have put up. I should have grabbed those, but just to illustrate, this is what you're seeing here. So that was step one, is getting clean, crisp digital video directly out of the Dreamcast, which is a real dream of mine because it means I can stream this stuff in 1080p without having to buy a bunch of other shit to convert the video or worry about weird analog to digital converters which add lag or anything like this. This is just no lag HD. It's I really cannot stress enough to you how awesome it is. Now, LA Dead Red is asking me how much he charged for that service, and the answer is $60. So, $60 to have HDMI. There's cables that cost more than that are HDMI cables. So, so that's why I did it. It was a little Christmas present to myself. But that's why everybody here needs to keep subscribing, because then I can pay for all my retro game modding, So one other piece of the pie here, the puzzle, is I also got a Mode ODE, which was on sale from Terra Onion over Black Friday. This was a little more expensive, but it allows me to replace my disk drive in my Dreamcast with a hard drive, basically. And so essentially I can play backups of all of my Dreamcast games straight from a hard drive in digital. So I have a wall full of Dreamcast games, so I'm not pirating them. I want to be very clear about that, but it's just allowing me to have all my games in one place forever. And the disk drives on Dreamcast are slowly going bad, and games are burning out and stuff like that. So the net result of that is that I have the most badass Dreamcast. It's like my Dreamcast. And the final piece is that I also got myself this on Black Friday. This was a Retro Fighters Dreamcast controller, because my old controller was getting a little bit sticky. So that's what I'm going to be using to play tonight. And you can even see that it says mode in there from, let me see if I can line that up. So it's running the Mode ODE is outputting to the little save game thing. All right. So that is all of that is to say that we are about to see something that took me a lot of effort to get for you, and that's the backstory. So you don't just think this is just some silly game about dolphins or whatever, blah, blah, blah. This is a big deal. This is a big deal to me. This is the reason that I wanted to do this. And one more thing. I don't know if Sodium Lord is in the chat or not, but he also helped me with this mod because he 3D printed me a mount that I used to install the mode inside of the Dreamcast. And I would not have been able to do that without his assistance. He printed that for me without me even asking and dropped it off at the house in the mailbox. And so huge thank you to Sodium Lord. And yes, the thing is called the Mode, Moon Pie. The Mode Multiple Optical Disc Emulator, because you can put it into a Dreamcast or a Sega Saturn. I'm putting it in the Dreamcast because I have a cheaper fin rear in my Saturn. So... yeah, So Sodium Lord, a million thank yous. Anybody else in the chat that I haven't recognized? I did a lot of talking there. I'm sorry about that if it was too much, but that's that. You come here to hear me bullshitting. By the way, I'm repping some merch. This is the Cube Troller, which is based off the KLF what's it called, the Pyramid Blaster, but I have the Cube Troller. This shirt, I don't know, the design needs a little work. This is more of a prototype, but there is some new merch up on the merch store. I made a special Thanksgiving shirt and then never streamed on Thanksgiving, and I also made some new Bad Dudes merch. So if Tween is still in the audience, this is for you, buddy. I'm bad. Oh shit, Eclectic Witch is here too? Hell yes. Well, Eclectic Witch missed my whole TED talk on the AtomisWave, so she's going to have to check it out the next time she's in the Geek Cave, so she can look forward to that, Well, there you go, Dolphin Blue. All right, let's switch back over to headshot mode for a second. We're in talking head mode. So there was like 25 other AtomisWave games, and probably the one besides Dolphin Blue that's very, very hey, Necro Lobster is here too. Dude, you just missed all of Dolphin Blue. You missed the entire intro where I talked about what the AtomisWave was, and then you missed me play the whole game and beat it. Damn. Well, the next time you're over, I'm going to have to sit you down and really walk you through the history of the AtomisWave game system. But one thing I wanted to show here is I was going to do this thing where I was like, oh, and then there's this game that we're going to play, and it's called Dolphin Blue. I was going to show that that's the second player character. We did not play as her. That's the pirate girl. I don't know if the pirate girl gets married at the end. Maybe we'd have to play through that to find out. I'm not sure. But there's also Metal Slug 6 came out on AtomisWave, and it has some pretty crazy arcade art for the flyer. So I'm going to show that to you here. So there it is. That is the official Metal Slug 6 flyer. And I think it's like the craziest thing I've ever seen. It's like the porniest, it's just stupid. It looks like something you'd see like on a mobile game or something like that. Like, these are characters from Metal Slug, but they're normally just normal soldiers, and like here they are all, sexified, And I just thought I saw that when I was doing research, and I was like, that's fucking stupid. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that with all of you because, I know my audience, and I knew you guys would like that, So there it is.